I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and happy holidays to everybody. Let's get right into this week's Forex Forecast. Alright, starting things off with the COT report for the US dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 805 longs and they also got rid of 0 shorts. As you guys know, last week, pretty much a whole holiday week, it was Christmas time. I didn't do a weekly Forex forecast last week. I was pretty much inactive, but we're back at it here. Looking forward to 2024 and hope we all kill it here. So starting things off with the dollar. If you guys remember from my forecast 2 weeks ago, I pointed out this 4-hour supply zone. And as you can see, beautiful reaction off of that supply right now. So that trade's already kind of worked out here on the DXY. I noticed something on the 1-hour chart though. If you go to the 1-hour chart here, you can clearly see we have demand down below at 100.89. We could see a move off of this demand if we do pull back down to it, although it's a little bit risky for sure. But I just want to show you guys that we are kind of breaking momentum here. We had a beautiful downward trend line, and you can clearly see we are breaking above the trend line. Does that mean we are going to shoot up to the moon? Probably not. It's definitely not enough evidence for me. For me to consider going long on the dollar, I would have to see something like this, where we get a 1-hour uptrend, where we can draw a 1-hour trend line like that. At that point, I think that would be safe to say we could be looking for longs in the dollar. But until then, I really don't see much going on. If you look at a daily chart here, you can see we have a beautiful daily downtrend here. It's not amazing, but it is a daily downtrend. We have supply above at a 103.53. It is definitely possible we retrace all the way back up to here to get a move down, right? Which actually would create a better downtrend. So this move is definitely possible. That's why we're going to have to monitor what happens on the 1-hour chart to see if the trend starts to change to the upside, and then we could catch this move to the upside on the dollar as we retrace back up to that daily supply. So it's all going to revolve around that 1-hour chart at the end of the day. And just wanted to point out to you guys, at this weekly chart here, we are into weekly demand again. That's why we're kind of starting to see a push up. Remember, it is very tested, so I'm not expecting the dollar to really rally all that far here. I'm actually pretty bearish on the dollar. I am expecting these lows to break. But like I said, going back to the daily chart one more time, it is definitely possible that, we've seen such a pretty big move down the dollar. It's possible we do retrace and get that healthy pullback to the upside. Maybe that the banks want to get more positions in short to then push price lower. So that's what I'm going to be looking for here on the dollar, mostly monitoring that 1-hour chart. All right, onto the forecast for the Euro US dollar. The past week, the banks added 3,117 longs, and they also added 318 short positions. Now, just want to point out the daily chart here first. We have a pretty nice looking daily uptrend. This is about as good as it gets, in my opinion. For those of you guys remember, we got a beautiful trade off that daily demand. Finally hit a 3-to-1 target there. So nice trade off that daily demand zone on the euro here. So just want to point that out that the trend is to the upside on the daily chart here. So in my opinion, longs are definitely going to be favored. And a couple weeks ago, we got this beautiful entry here at this 4-hour demand zone on the euro. This trade went well over 5-to-1. This was called out in the daily market breakdown video. If you guys want access to these daily videos, my chart analysis on a regular basis, video lessons, Sundays, Zoom sessions, and all that, check out the links in the description down below to the Diamond membership. And we also have lifetime access available as well. And we're actually running a promo code right now where you can save 30%, and the prices will be going up for the lifetime membership in 2024. So this is the last discount that I'll be putting out for the lifetime membership. So 30% off. Use promo code 2024, wap.com/FXTelepath. Links in the description down below. We'd be happy to see as many of you guys join the lifetime membership as possible, and we can continue to build this group and have great discussions in these Zoom sessions on Sunday and much, much more. So looking at the euro now, like I said, got that trade off that 4-hour zone. We are into another 4-hour zone. Now, in my opinion, the zone, I'm going to call this zone 1 and zone 2. In my opinion, zone 1 was much better, and in hindsight, obviously, the trade worked out great. But zone 2, it's not looking great right now. I don't like the look of this zone that much. I mean, I don't mind the basing, but I don't like the way price exited. This is definitely a better exit here on the euro. So I think it's possible we do break below this zone and kind of float around and then continue to rally up based on that daily uptrend. Where are we going to go if we break this zone? down to, it's difficult to tell. I think we could push all the way down to like 1.097, 1.096, maybe down to this area down here. But at the end of the day, we could start to kind of fill this in and rally up if we do decide, if the banks decide to break this zone. But at the end of the day, we will still have a 4-hour uptrend, and I will still be very bullish on the euro based on that daily trend. If you are bearish the euro, because you guys know I like to give both sides of the equation. Some guys have given me a hard time on that for that on here, but I like to show both sides. So if you are bearish, I'm not bearish based on that daily and 4-hour trend. I'm personally not looking for shorts. But if you want to look for shorts, the only thing I would even consider is if price pushes up to this supply at 1.10, we have a 1-hour supply zone here. We could see a move off that zone. I'm not saying it's going to be a big move like I just pointed out there. We could get a small move. So this would be an area where you could look for day trading shorts, and that's about it because of that daily trend. So that's the only thing I would do here for shorts on the euro. But overall, I am definitely way more bullish here on the euro US dollar. On to the COT report and forecast for gold. The past week, the banks added 8,871 longs, and they also added 2,492 shorts. So I wanted to point out first, just a reminder, because I had a week off. Remember, guys, we have a weekly uptrend here on gold. We pushed above, made all-time record highs. To me, looks like we want to push back up again. But remember, weekly uptrend. So that's a very, very positive sign for gold. And even if we pull back all the way back down to, I got to see this price here, all the way back down to like 1980, 1960. If we do that soon, within the next couple months, we'll still have a weekly uptrend. So I'm bullish on gold long term, especially for swing trading as well, based on that weekly trend. We're going to do a top-down approach here, going back to the daily chart. So we don't quite have a daily uptrend yet. We actually broke the uptrend here, and we actually created demand there as well at 1996. We could see a move off that zone. It's not my favorite looking zone ever, but we definitely could see a move off that daily zone if we do push down to it. In the meantime, right now, if we go to a 1-hour chart, it's pretty telling what's taking place. So we had a pretty nice 1-hour uptrend. Price is pushing up, then all of a sudden we shot down and started to break demand and trend lines. And supply zones are starting to be respected. So that is definitely a sign we could see some negative action, as in the price of gold going down. We are kind of just ping-ponging here between supply and demand at the moment. This demand zone we are at, it's not bad. We've already seen a reaction off of it, and clearly there is demand here because we've seen multiple moves off of this zone. Will this zone hold and push all the way back up to all-time highs? I don't know. Probably not, I'm going to guess. It's not the best zone I've ever seen, but it's definitely possible. With this zone in control, we could be looking for day trading longs on day trading timeframes, like the 5-minute or the 50-minute chart, or even the 1-minute chart. If we break this 1-hour zone like that, that would give us a pretty nice 1-hour downtrend. And at that point, I think we could be looking for day trading shorts only on gold. So once we break that supply, day trading shorts are on the table. But in the meantime, we could be looking for day trading longs in that 1-hour demand zone. And look, if we push up here and we break that supply on the 1-hour chart, any 1-hour demand here, we could be looking for longs in there as well. Same thing goes for this supply. If we break that supply, any 1-hour zone that breaks that, we could be looking for longs in. So it's really all going to matter on this 1-hour chart, in my opinion, on gold. So again, to kind of recap, if we break this demand zone, we could be looking for day trading shorts on day trading timeframes. At this current moment, with this demand zone in control, we could be looking for day trading longs. If we break this supply, we could be looking for longs again. Same with this supply as well. So long-term bullish on gold for swing trading, but it doesn't mean if we get a 1-hour downtrend like that, it doesn't mean we won't be able to get little day trading shorts in here as we potentially pull back down to that daily demand that I pointed out earlier at 1996. On to the forecast for the USDJPY. The past week, the banks got rid of 3,747 longs, and they also added 5,587 shorts. And if you guys are enjoying this video so far, I would appreciate a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. I do these forecasts every single week for free. Haven't missed any except for on Christmas in the past couple years. So would appreciate a thumbs up. So looking at the USDJPY weekly chart, I was surprised we react off this weekly supply. I'm not going to lie. So I think where we are headed potentially is like around 136, maybe 137, like long term here. not long-term, like midterm, because at the end of the day, looking at the daily chart, we have nothing but supply zones being created and being respected. Now, it's a little overextended. We could, get that pullback like I was showing you guys on the DXY earlier, but at the end of the day, supply zones are in control. We don't quite have a downtrend here on the daily chart. This is just momentum, in my opinion. So, we are coming in contact with this demand zone at this time on the daily chart, but I'm really not giving it much weight. I think where we could be headed is to this purple zone down here at about 136.68, just looking at this daily chart. I know it's a big move, but honestly, that's where I see us headed. And on the 4-hour chart, we have nothing but a pretty clean looking 4-hour downward trend at this point. I'm going to update this trend line here. So beautiful 4-hour downward trend. What that means, in my opinion, is it's day trading shorts 100%. I don't see any reason for getting in long just yet. If we start to break momentum here in the 4-hour chart, maybe leaving us the 4-hour demand zone, okay, maybe we could look for longs. But at the end of the day, we have a downtrend here, so I don't really want to be trading against that downtrend. As far as zones for me to point out, I really have nothing for you guys on the USDJPY, and that's kind of how it's been lately, just based on the charts. But look, all I'm going to say again is day trading shorts here are definitely fine because of the nature of that 4-hour downtrend. As far as zones go, don't really have much for you guys, but that's the reality of trading. I'm not going to sit here and make stuff up here like a lot of the YouTube trading people do. So anyways, to recap, again, we don't have a daily downtrend, so I don't think the USDN is as good to trade as the euro or like the pound or something right now. But if you're a day trader, I think the USDN is fine to continue to day trade short. All right, on to the GBPUSD forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 10,000 longs, and they also got rid of 4,226 shorts. So we are contacting daily supply right now. In my opinion, that is why we are seeing the move down in the GBPUSD. Nice supply zone coming in control right now. Not a supply zone where I'm like, we really got to get in short. But at the end of the day, we have a pretty nice... I'm actually going to call this a daily uptrend here on the pound. I think it's fair enough, to really call it that daily uptrend. If you look at a 4-hour chart, we actually caught this demand zone trade back here as well. It's very similar to the euro 4-hour zone as well. And this chart actually looks very similar to the euro, where the euro is also, or the pound is also coming into 4-hour demand, just like the euro US dollar. Now, I really don't like how much it's being tested here, but look how much this zone was tested, and we broke out of it as well. So anything can happen. I want to just be very clear on that. But at the end of the day, you can see my upward trend line, or my upward arrow here. We have a beautiful 4-hour trend. So I think looking for longs is going to be your best friend. So as long as this upward trend line is holding, actually let me just extend it here. As long as this trend line is holding, I think looking for longs is going to be the best thing to do here on the pound. But if you come over to the 1-hour chart, something significant has taken place. You guys can see we had a very nice 1-hour uptrend here. We created supply, and then we actually reacted off that supply zone pretty well, actually, over a 3-to-1 there, I'm pretty sure, which is what we like to target. So that was a nice move. Now, this supply reacting multiple times is definitely a sign we could continue to go lower. So what I'm going to be looking for in the 1-hour chart, if we remove that 1-hour supply, any 1-hour demand zone that's formed, we could be looking for longs at off of that 1-hour zone. So any zone that removes this supply zone is going to be very good, in my opinion. So as far as shorts go, I really don't see any reason to short. If this supply was fresh and price was down here, I'd say, yeah, go ahead. We could be looking for shorts here. A little risky, but at the end of the day, that was what we could have been doing. So in the meantime, on the pound, as long as we have, like I said, that 4-hour trend line holding, it's going to be good to continue to look for longs on day trading timeframes. And if you're a swing trader, we want to wait for that 1-hour supply to be removed first before we just continue to get on long. All right, on to the USDCAD forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 6,789 longs, and they also added 12,823 shorts. So first, looking at the daily chart, you can see we have a daily zone in control right now, kind of reacting off of it. Not the best reaction I've ever seen, but we are currently reacting off of it. I just want to say, if you guys skipped the DXY forecast that I did in this video, or you didn't pay attention or whatever, you guys remember I said we could start to see the dollar start to rally back up to daily supply. Well, looking at the USD CAD here, we could see this USD CAD rally back up to supply. This is a good area to potentially look for shorts. So what that means is we could be looking for longs on the USDCAD. Not yet though. So if you come to a 4-hour chart, this is a weird looking chart. It's actually more visible in a 1-hour chart. I will pull it up in a second. But we do have this 4-hour supply zone that is currently in control. Now, I really don't like, I mean, we got a nice reaction off of it all the way down to like 1.318. But right now, we push immediately back up into it. So I think we are going to break that zone. Just based on my experience and what I'm seeing, to me, it does look like we are going to break that zone. On to the 1-hour chart, you can see we have a 1-hour downtrend here. Not the best downtrend ever. And we, broke down and immediately pushed back up into supply and this trend line. I think that this is going to break. I don't think that this is going to hold. If you want to short, I mean, now is your time based on us being in a supply zone. But honestly, I think we are going to just blow right through this, in my opinion. And any 1-hour zone here is a risky trade, but we could be looking for longs in that zone, like I said, because this is what we call a confirmation trade as we come off of that daily zone that was down here that I pointed out on the daily chart. So that would be a 1-hour confirmation trade if we remove that supply and the trend line. So any pullback to demand would be a trade here on the USDCAD. So a little bit risky, a little bit choppy and kind of all over the place as far as like the most recent price action the past like day. But honestly, the daily chart here is pretty telling, where we could start to see the end of this momentum and start to push back up here. And again, it's all going to revolve around the DXY. So definitely monitor what takes place on the DXY on that 1-hour chart. Alrighty, on to the forecast for the Aussie. So the past week, the banks added 3,734 long contracts, and they also added 4,360 shorts. So on the daily chart here, we don't really you could call this a daily uptrend. It's borderline. We definitely have momentum to the upside. That is undeniable. I don't think anybody would say momentum is to the downside, right? We do have a daily demand zone down here at 0.659. I think it's possible. We do push down to there. Again, it's all going to depend on the dollar. And that's a good area to look for longs on this daily chart. So I just want you guys to remember that on this daily zone here. And it's definitely possible we do pull back down to there because, look, price is so overextended. Not so overextended, but it is, where we're kind of due for that deeper pullback to give us that cleaner looking trend, right? So it's definitely possible we pull all the way back down to 0.659 and get that move, right? So just wanted to show you guys more of a long-term perspective here on the Aussie. And looking at this 4-hour chart, we clearly have pretty nice uptrend here on the 4-hour chart. So at any point, we could be looking for longs on day trading timeframes. That is definitely a frame of mind you could have. If you are a little bit more conservative, you can see here on this 1-hour chart, we clearly have a supply zone and a demand zone that I've had on my charts before these reactions even happened. And you can see we're clearly just ping-ponging between the two zones right now. There was nothing in here that was worth trading, but definitely something worth trading, at least up here, not this zone, because this zone was already tested, but this was a good zone before. So just want to point out that we're kind of ping-ponging right now. This supply is currently in control in the 1-hour chart, and this is a significant supply zone. It removed this trend line. So that's definitely a significant supply zone. As far as trading it goes now, if there's any day trading time frame supply zones up here, you could definitely be looking for shorts on lower time frames with that 1-hour supply in control with clear profit target back down to this demand at 0.678 again. So as far as fresh zones, I really don't see much. If we pull back down to this 1-hour demand at 0.676, we could see a move off that 1-hour zone down there. It is fresh. It is a decent zone. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but we could see a move off of it. So if we continue to break that supply, we could be looking for longs as well. And look, if we do break this low, break these demand zones, we'll have a very nice 1-hour downtrend. And that is enough evidence for me to start to look for shorts on day trading timeframes with the idea that, hey, maybe with that 1-hour downtrend, that is the first sign, the first step that we could be retracing back down to that daily demand zone like I pointed out earlier. So that's my thoughts on the Aussie. Remember, guys, if I'm not making any sense, I respond to all the comments. So I will answer any questions in the comments down below if you have any questions or concerns. USDCHF forecast, the Swiss franc. The past week, the banks got rid of 944 long contracts, and they also added 1,699 shorts. So I have a 4-chart layout open right now, and why I have that, you guys will notice I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 red arrows to the downside. And what that indicates is that all 4 of my time frames that I use, at least for the weekly Forex forecast, are in a downtrend. So what do you guys think we should do? I want you to say it to yourself right now. I can't hear you. Hopefully you said we should be looking for shorts based on that downtrend. It doesn't mean we just want to hop on short right now, but look, we cannot deny these beautiful trends that we're seeing on the USD Swiss. This is a rare time. So as far as trading it goes, let's keep this one very, very simple. There's 2 supply zones here in my charts at 0.851 and 0.860. So these 2 4-hour supply zones we could be using as higher time frame supplies. As shorts already, we could be using them as shorts. So really that's all there is to say. I know there's really not much right here, and that's kind of, we got to be patient. But look, if you want to jump the gun and you want to be looking for shorts, like I said, all time frames are trending. So at any point you could be looking for shorts, but just based on how much we've been going down, we are definitely quote unquote due for a pullback. I hate saying that because even in roulette or something, we're never really due for red to hit red or black, no matter how many times it is hit. But it also is due, right? It's a weird paradox. But at the end of the day, the trends are to the downside. I am expecting a pullback at least, because a pullback, it would be healthy. So that's what I'm gonna be looking for, in my opinion, here on the USD Swiss franc. So definitely shorts all the way. I cannot stress that enough. But look, like I said, we could start to go up, and if you want, maybe you could be day trading long on a 1-minute chart, but at the end of the day, I don't want to be trading against a weekly, daily, 4-hour, and 1-hour downtrend. All right, on to the last market of the forecast, oil. So the past week, the banks added 6,104 longs, and they got rid of 10,437 shorts. We're going to start with a weekly chart here. In my opinion, this weekly chart is pretty important. If we break this low here, I think, that's a pretty nice weekly downtrend. I think all signs are pointing to the downside on oil. If we break this weekly supply, that would give us pretty much a weekly uptrend, and that would be significant. But I just want to say, oil has been difficult to trade lately. Not a lot going on as far as the weekly chart goes, but on the daily chart, we have very nice daily downtrends. We did recently break a supply zone, but if you guys remember me saying, it was a very, very poor quality supply zone, so nothing really I would be personally trading at. But at the end of the day, daily downtrend is still in control. So that's definitely something that we want to consider. Now, looking at the 4-hour chart, there's really not much to say here. We are into this 4-hour demand. It's barely tested. I still think we could see a move off of it, but based on what I'm seeing, it's not looking good. And in my opinion, if you kind of just zoom in here a little bit, we are very much testing this zone. We are basically 2/3 of the way into the zone right now. And below, we actually have a zone that we got a trade off of earlier at 70.53. This is a zone that's barely tested as well. We could see a move off that zone as well. Not my favorite thing to be doing, trading at tested zones, and especially with a daily downtrend. So what I want to say here in oil is it's tricky, and there's really not a lot to go off of. If we break this zone here, we might have supply up here. I'm not sure. If we break one of these zones, what I'm saying is any zone that breaks these 2 zones or one of the zones could be a decent supply zone to potentially look for shorts if you want to continue to trade with that daily downtrend. As far as the 1-hour chart goes, we have 2 1-hour supply zones here at 72.60 and at 74.63. We could see moves off of any one of these 1-hour supply zones. I do personally prefer the one above at 74.63, but as you can see, we've moved so far down that we haven't, got that ability to pull back yet. But at the end of the day, these are 2 1-hour supply zones that we could be looking for shorts in here on crude oil as we potentially continue to push down on this daily chart and the daily downward trend and blast through these 4-hour zones. So at this point, I have to kind of go with that daily downtrend on oil, although I don't like the weekly chart. We kind of have to go with that daily downtrend and assume that we're going to continue to go down. So right now, just waiting for either these 4-hour demand zones to be removed, and then we could be looking for a pullback short. And like I said, there's 2 1-hour supply zones here that we could be looking for shorts at as well if you are more of an aggressive trader. If you guys want to watch the full-length forecast with all the other markets, make sure to subscribe to the channel membership to get access.